Welcome back to another episode of 5 Fact Friday, where we share 5 fun facts about a specific whiskey or wine topic, and hopefully you're going to learn something. If this is your first time being here, we get a little bit nerdy with these, but this one is going to be for our beginners to help you out. We're talking about 5 different bourbon myths that you should really dispel before getting into bourbon. Let's go. All right, so number 1, the first myth we're going to go over is the smooth detail. This is just when you're going out, getting bourbon, people are like, oh yeah, try this one. It's the smoothest bourbon, or just bourbon being described as smooth in general. Now, there are a lot of people who say that some bourbons are smooth. I know we're guilty of this. We've said it before on this channel, but it's not the best word to use when you're talking about a whiskey to a beginner, because bourbon is not smooth like they're going to assume it is. Bourbon is typically going to be around that 90 proof range, at least for like an intro bourbon, and that's not really smooth. It's still going to be pretty alcoholic and it's going to burn. For a whiskey to be smooth or easy drinking, you might have to do some things to it to make it so that you can easily drink it. You might have to add some water to it, you might have to have it on ice, you might want it in a cocktail, or you might like a bourbon that's finished in something like a rum finished bourbon or a maple syrup finished bourbon, anything like that that makes it a little bit sweeter. That might round it out a little bit more for you and actually make it smooth. But for the most part, hearing the word smooth, it's not what you really think it is. And a lot of people will hunt for the smoothest bourbon. It's pretty subjective what's actually going to come off as smooth, or basically less alcohol burn is typically what people are talking about. Or they might be talking about the mouthfeel, which just means it's pretty oily and smooth. So that's gonna be the first thing that we need to dispel is when you hear the word smooth, don't automatically assume that it means easy drinking. Next up, we're gonna talk about one that kind of bothers me that people try to push this so much, but tasting things neat. Just putting this frankly, neat isn't necessary. I like that. Might make a shirt out of that. But anyways, neat is not necessary. So when you are getting into the world of bourbon and say you just want to experience bourbon, you just want to try some bourbon, you don't need to try things neat all the time. You don't only need to drink whiskey neat. You can have it however you'd like. If you're someone who wants to basically get to the point of being an educator or be really nerdy about it, be able to do all these really cool things when it comes to bourbon, sure, you should probably sample some things neat, but you don't always need to drink it neat all the time. Neat is kind of nice because you get to taste the spirit as the distiller intended, but also you might want it on ice. You might want to have it in a cocktail. You might want to proof it down a little bit, and you might enjoy it at a lower proof, which technically, I guess you can still call that neat, but it's not always necessary to have it neat. If you're someone who just wants to try bourbon, like I said, and you don't want to get super nerdy about it, you don't have to drink it neat. Drink it in a cocktail. Do whatever you want with it. It does not matter. As long as you're enjoying the spirit, enjoying it responsibly, it doesn't matter how you're doing it, whether it's going to be in a cocktail, on the rocks, neat, watered down, whatever. Doesn't have to be neat. Third one we're going to talk about is one that I know I'm kind of guilty of, but I think I have a justifiable reason for it. However, for someone who is getting into bourbon, I think this is a fair statement to try to avoid this. Proof, like chasing proof, going for those high octane, those uncut, unfiltered, barrel proof, straight from the barrel, all of those things is not necessary right out the gun. I say that because when you get something right from the barrel, one, you're going to have it probably have some barrel char in it, and a lot of people don't like having little floaties in their whiskey, so that can put some people off. Next thing is, if it's high proof, that's just going to burn your mouth, it's going to burn your nose, and you're not going to be able to really enjoy it. So there's no point in trying to drink something that you're not going to enjoy. So you want it at the proof that you can enjoy it at. Don't get roped into this whole fiasco that the highest proof, basically the hazmat stuff, that uncut, unfiltered, that's what you need. That's true bourbon. Now, you can go get a bottle of 1792, just their basic offering. That's bourbon. It's fine. You don't have to have it at this crazy high proof or anything like that. You can have an 80 proof bourbon, it's bourbon, and it will probably be good. Now, I did say there's a rationale behind going for those high octane or those high proof bottles. My rationale for it is that you can try it at that high proof, and if you don't like it, you can proof it down and find the proof point that you like it at. There's a specific whiskey that I have, and I love this bottle. It is uncut, unfiltered, but I love putting a little bit of water in it. It opens it up so much, and that's where you get to play with it a little bit more. So there is a nerdy side of it too. If you want to try doing something like that, go ahead and do it. But don't feel like you need to get sucked into only going after those high proof, being a proof chaser, and getting those uncut, unfiltered, barrel proof things. Not really necessary, especially for starting out, because again, might be a little bit too aggressive. Number 4, you have to be great at picking out flavors and smells and all these notes and things like that. You don't. I've been into whiskey now for about 2 years of very diligently researching it and tasting whiskey and trying to get to the point where I can assess whiskey and provide flavor notes and all of these things. I'm still not good at this. It terrifies me when someone's like, hey, what are your tasting notes for this specific bourbon? Stresses me out to no end. But if you're starting out, it is good to try to figure these things out, but don't feel like you need to do it. Trying to nail these flavors and pick apart the whiskey and pull out all of these smells and aromas, it's hard. It's not something we normally do here, especially in the US. We don't normally just pick apart flavors and pulling all of these things out of midair. This is something that in Europe they do a lot. So it just so happens that a lot of Psalms probably coming from Europe because that's something that they normally do. Here in the US, we have to train ourselves to it. It's like working out, working a muscle. You have to taste different things, smell different things, and work at picking out those flavor notes and those aromas. It takes a long time. I am at the point where for wine, I'm pretty confident about doing this and I can pick some things out because I've been in the wine world for a little bit longer than I was in the bourbon and whiskey world. But when it comes to bourbon and whiskey, I'm still growing in this spot and I'm still learning. So don't feel like you need to be able to just smell something and go, oh yeah, I get all of these flavor notes. If all you get is alcohol or brown sugar, caramel, vanilla, banana, cherry cola, any of those things, it's fine. Just start somewhere and start being able to pick some things out. It's gonna take a while, but if you stay diligent at it, you'll be able to do it. All right, last one we're gonna talk about is probably my favorite when it comes to the whiskey world or really any beverage. It's all subjective. So if someone is gonna come to you and say, oh yeah, you need to like this whiskey, it's gonna be really good, you're gonna absolutely love it. Maybe not. There are some people who really like certain whiskeys and think these are the best things out there and this is what people should be drinking. And you might not like that whiskey, which is totally fine. It is all subjective and you just need to understand that. The sooner that you accept that and you accept that you might not like what the rest of your group or your crowd likes, the sooner you're going to be able to find what you do like. The point of whiskey and wine really is to be able to taste good things with good people and have a good time. It's not to find the absolute best thing that everyone likes and just chase that. I mean, if you want to do that, go for it. But I think it's a little bit more fun to have some diversity and this person likes this, somebody else likes rye, someone likes scotches, someone likes a bourbon that's finished in something, or maybe a wheated bourbon, whatever it is. You don't all have to like the same thing, which is honestly why there's so many different brands and so many different expressions, because not all of us like the same thing. Personally, I am not the biggest fan of most wheated bourbons. They're just all right to me, or if you even have a wheat whiskey, not the biggest fan of those. And even when you're looking at like the Buffalo Trace products, if you gave me some Buffalo Trace products and then you gave me probably something that has more rye in the mash bill, I'm most likely going to lean towards the more heavy rye stuff because that's just what I like. Now I know someone's going to be like, oh, what about Eagle Rare? Eagle Rare just has a special place in my heart because of when we had it and all of that stuff. So I do still appreciate Eagle Rare. But the point is, you might not like what everyone else likes because whiskey and taste and aromas are all subjective to what you yourself like. The world of bourbon is tons of fun. There's so much to dive into, and you can get super nerdy about it, or you can just be someone who just enjoys the beverage and enjoys hanging out with people. If you don't have a good group to hang out with, I know finding a group on Facebook or whatever can be a little weird now, but try to get plugged into like a Patreon community or a Discord of some really good people. I have a ton of friends over on the Instagram and TikTok side who have some fantastic Discords with great people that are getting together, doing virtual pours, or actually getting together and going out bourbon hunting together. Find a community like that, because those are the ones that make this hobby so much fun. Anyways, guys, you've made it to the weekend. Cheers to you, and I'll see you on Monday.